Hello, world. Welcome to Querying Theology and Philosophy and Spirituality. And today we are in celebration and joy and happiness for India's revocation and decriminalization of gay sex. Congratulations, India. We are celebrating with you. Oh my, I'm trying to act a bit composed, but I can get very loud. It's a very good day, the best day of the month of September. And I'm very happy about the news. This is a significant decision from the Supreme Court of India because, first of all, India is the world's second largest country in terms of population. So this means over 1 billion people are now free to live their lives. Over 1 billion people are free to express themselves sexually. Over 1 billion people are free to associate with whomever they want sexually. Over 1 billion people are free to sexually to we've talked about association, we've talked about expression, and we've talked about privacy. They are free, their privacy is respected, nobody can hinder it, and I'm so happy for India for doing that. And why is that important? This is important because India is a religious. Remember, the videos we've done here. The oldest religion in the world is Hinduism. Now, the importance of that statement is most religions draw their practices from India. Actually, almost all. There is no practice. There's no religious practice that was not practiced by Hinduism, or is not in Hinduism. All of them are there. Fasting, singing, praying, meditation, all of those things came from India. India started them. And then other religions came by and borrowed a leaf from them. And one yoga that was very important is called Tantric Yoga. Tantric Yoga is sexual, is that sex is sacred. That is what Tantric Yoga is all about, is the sacredness of sex. And sex in India, in the ancient India, because now this is modern India. Ancient India, sex was what do you call it? Was sacred, and all forms of sex had their job, and it was spiritual, and which is true. That's why when you study psychology and psychiatry, you have what you call psychosexuality. Psychosexuality is a spiritual because the psycho is the soul, and the sex is biological, it's physiological. So when you're talking about the psychosexuality of a human being, you're talking about his being connected to his body, and this happens in sex. And you see, heterosexuality and homosexuality are all psychosexual activities. This is why it is beautiful when you have sex with someone you want to have sex with, whether he's of the same sex or the different sex, opposite sex. It's beautiful. So, because your soul is involved, you know what the soul is? The psyche. The psyche is the mind, the will, and the emotions. And all of these things connect when your will, I want to sleep with him, I want to sleep with her, and all of those are that's the mind talking, it's the psyche. So now the problem was, in India, when the British came to colonize India, they found these activities that people were having sex, men were having sex with men, Women were having sex with women. There were transgenders. You know, the hijras have existed for thousands of years. Hijras are eunuchs. And thousands of years they've been in India. And they were very special people. They were in the royal palaces. They served the kings. Of course, India still has a caste system, but it's not legal. It's just social, and that is being done away with slowly. We need to. The caste system also needs to be done away with, but that will be done away with by the people themselves. That's why the decriminalization of gay sex is the most important thing to happen in India, because they are going to address the whole case system later on socially, but legally they don't recognize the case system. Now, the back to what I was saying, when the British came, they criminalized gay sex, they criminalized transgenders, they criminalized hijras. Why? Britain was brainwashed by Christianity, because you have to understand something about Britain. Britain was not born a Christian nation. Britain did not start out with Christianity. They had their own religions just like India. In fact, their religions are very similar to Indian religion. The Celtic Druids, they are very similar to Indian religion. And what happened is when the Romans came to Britain, because Britain, again, another thing you need to know about Britain, Britain was colonized. It was not, it's never has, it wasn't a free nation. It started as a free nation, but it was colonized by the Romans. And when the Romans came in, the after that, Christianity went to Rome, because also Romans were not Christians. Christianity is from the Middle East, and how it moved to Rome was through Paul, who wrote to the Romans, who went to preach the Roman Church, which also had Jews and Gentiles. Now, Roman Empire at the time of Paul hated Christianity, that they were persecuting them. So to be a Christian was to be a criminal, until Constantine recognized Christianity as a religion and made it the official state religion. So that is the time the Roman Empire became a Christian empire. Now, when it became a Christian empire, remember it already had colonies all over the world, in Britain, in Libya, in other even I think parts of Eastern Europe. They had colonies. So, but now what had happened is the colonizer had changed his religion, so he became Christian. So wherever they had colonies, they became Christian colonies. And now when that happened, the colonizers in Britain became Christian, and they now taught Christianity to the ancient Britons, and some Britons became Christian. Now, when that happened, that's how Britain and Europe became Christian. Europe was never a Christian country, region. Yes. Europe was very pagan. They were worshipping Frida, they were worshipping Thor, they were worshipping Wooden, you know, they were worshipping all of these gods, and they were worshipping Venus, they were worshipping Diana. They had many gods. Europe is actually the same, ancient Europe is the same as ancient India and modern India. They were polytheistic. They had many gods. As I've told you, the gods of Germany, there were many. The gods of Britain were many. And so they were just polytheistic. And this is why India and Europe are the same. They are mostly similar. Even in language, you call them Indo-European languages. It's because India is on the same land that Europe is on. They are just on the same. The same. And even Africa is part of it, only that Africa is very down. So we have now what we call Afro-Eurasia, meaning Africa, Europe, and Asia are all on one land space. And so Now, Britain, who were colonized by Romans who became Christian and then went to India and took their Christian laws there, because when the colonizers colonizers of Britain became Christian, everybody now started reading the Bible. The leaders were the Bible people. Britain was ruled by clergy. Even a bishop was a very important person because he was next to the king. He would go and see the king with ease. And even till today in England, the House of Lords, House of Lords has bishops who sit there because of the old system that allowed the church leaders to be in politics. And so, what does this mean? This meant that the Bible influenced legislation in Britain. And then Britain now became like the Roman Empire and started colonizing countries all over the world. And now they colonized India. And when they colonized India, they put the laws they were put in England, they, they planted them in India. And when they saw sexuality, there was very diverse sexuality. They said, oh my God, these people are doing immoral things. Sodom and Gomorrah is in India. And what they did is um, they put those laws and they punish people. And some hijras are out. We were having a discussion in our LGBTQ church, and I told people, I think some people, we were discussing about coming out and staying in the closet. So some people are in and some people are out. But then I said to myself, and I told the rest, that no, actually, there are some people who are out. They don't even need to tell you that they're gay. They are just out. You see? Some people need to tell you they are because their gayness is not visible in the outside. So they need to tell you that they are gay. Others don't need. You just look at them, and mostly this happens to transgenders. Transgenders, you just look at them. Some of them, the body parts, they look feminine. Others are masculine. Look at Semenya. Semenya is just, she tries, she tries to plait her hair. But I have seen other women, they have beards. I mean, the famous, the Arab lady who is in UK, she has beards. They grow. So when you look at her, if she wears a hat and even she tries to look feminine by wearing dresses, but if she wore a hat and a jacket, you would think you're seeing a man. You see, so she's already out. She can't hide her sexuality and her, what do you call it? Her sexual identity, because beards are sexual features that belong to men, but they can also belong to women because of hormonal balance. Hips are sexual features that belong to ladies but can also belong to men because of hormonal balance. And all of this, every feature in the body that belongs to a man and belongs to a woman, are sexual features. Even eyes, eyes. People are attracted to somebody's eyes. Yes, and you can be attracted to a man's eyes if you're a man, or a woman's. It's because that's how we are. We are all under this sexual umbrella. But until when the British now did that and brought those laws, they made people they changed India. And it made Indians, you see, now then Indians were now being brainwashed to think like Britons, Christian Britons, with the laws. And that's what happened. And that's why it was why it's a struggle now it was a struggle to pass, to decriminalize gay sex. It's because there were people in India who are already brainwashed that it's bad. Are you seeing the power of law? Yes. I know Paul said the law is weak, but I disagree with that. It's not weak, it's strong. because there's a way when people ram it into you, they make you a zombie, and they make you they poison you that if you do this, we'll kill you. If you do this, so imagine you're actually homosexual, and you hear someone telling you that if you do that, we'll kill you. They have killed you because you will not do what you're supposed to do, what you love doing. You see, you will not do what you love doing. You won't do what you are. That's why there's a difference between laws that deal with other things, artificial things, and laws that deal with natural things. Homosexuality is a natural law. Lesbianism is a natural law. Bisexuality is a natural law. Intersex is a natural law. All of these sexual identities are natural. There is nobody. You can't lie. You can't. You can't. Nature never lies. It's the truth. You know what I like about nature? When it's a hurricane, it's a hurricane. It will not tell you that it's not a hurricane. It is. You just see it. That's the beauty of science. Science is truth. Yes. Science is based on truth. If a man has sex with a man who has an STD, he will get it. You'll get it. It's simple. It's science. It's not miracles. So we're very happy that India now finally is detoxifying itself of very bad laws, artificial laws that tried to vanquish natural laws, the natural laws of sexuality, of homosexuality, and lesbianism, and all of these other acts. Yeah, so that's I just had to do that video. And what this means for India, it means a lot. India is going to rise. India is going to become is progressing, because now LGBTQ persons are free to be who they are. It's going to be a happy nation that can progress. LGBTQ persons, of course, will need to get places to live. Of course, there's always backlash. Even remember when Bahamas, I think Barbados, they did something to gay marriage, and when they did that, what happened is the some landlords chased away gay people from their houses. Yeah, and that's sad, but we are very grateful. And what does this mean for religion? It means that God or gods loves all people. Because I've told you that your sexual identity is natural. Is natural. What does that mean? It comes from God. You were born with it. Lady Gaga said it so well. Born this way. Yes, you were born that way. You were born that way. And it's good. She was right. She was on point, and I stand with her forever with that song. And so what does that mean? If you were born that way, why should God hate you? You know, remember what the Westboro Church used to say, that God hates fags. Why should God hate someone whom he knew was going to be like that? And he even made it. He said you're going to be gay. He said you're going to be transgender. Why did God, it's stupidity for God to hate something he has created. It's stupidity. Yeah, that's my point. And even look at blind people. I mean, why has God not healed them? Yeah. Why has God not healed blind people? They are born blind. People have very many diseases. I mean, if God is really to heal them, then he should heal them. But he lets people live with them forever. I mean, people die and they have lived their whole life blind. So why attack somebody who is going to live his whole life gay? Interesting. So I'll leave you with that. But for spirituality and religion, it's a fact. you can still be LGBTQ and spiritual. In fact, those people are very spiritual. I'll talk about this, but in my other channel, Rex Arthur, about hijras. And hijras are the Indian LGBTQ, the ones who have been saved today. And I'll tell you about their story. They are very interesting. It's a sector. Of course, it's the Indian LGBTQ. But if you understand the history about them, it's like the eunuchs in the Bible. The eunuchs in the Bible, those are the Jewish hijras. And you have the Arabic hijras, and you have the African hijras. Every continent has its hijras. Even Europe had its hijras. Let's go to the European hijra. European hijra, they were castrated so that they can sing and sound like women. Because for some weird reason, the boys had had a way of singing very accurately. And so when they noticed that, they didn't want the boys to remain, to grow up and become, what do you call it, and have puberty. So, or if they get puberty, they don't get a lot of testosterone, because when those boys would grow big, they would grow beards and their voice would go deep. So to save them from that, the churches used to castrate them and they would sing in the choir. This is why even what's happening in the Catholic Church right now, the sex scandals, should go back to history and see, is it coming from the story of the castrati? You know, the castrati, those were the boys who used to sing in the choir. Yeah, they need to check that, because if these boys were not, they reached puberty and they were already castrated, they were femme. They were femme boys, and this is where you get the mollies, which was also in the 16th, 17th century Europe. Mollies were young femme boys, and we need to understand the psychosexuality of a castrati. We're going to do that research on our own time. So anyway, congratulations, India. This is a great day for the LGBT community. We are happy and are proud of you.